Hey everyone, this is Ellie Mae with Swift Crate Customs, and today I am sharing my testing with the leather on the Siser Juliet with the Siser Easy Crease Etch tool. And I get into some of this testing. I opened a file that is my logo. It was an SVG file, and then I'm going to go into the line fill patterns, and I chose to keep the original. I'm still testing with that. I used the line style with a 0.004 fill pattern. So it's set to etch now. I'm going to click on send, and then I'm going to uncheck the use cutter settings so I can set up the etch tool for what I want it to do. Currently it has a force of 160. That is way too much. So I'm going to set up a custom material here by clicking the three dots, add a new material. These options are available in versions 1.1.22 on higher. So I am changing the force setting under the etch tool to a 20, and I'm going to save that for this. And then I can choose the leather etch tool as my setting. I'm going to uncheck the auto weed box. I was cutting vinyl previously. And here I am putting Protecto film on top of my cutting mat so it doesn't get dirty with the fibers. Leather does have the fibers, and I'm using tooling leather. All the links will be in the description below for all the supplies that I'm sharing in this video. I'm going to move the tool housing over top of the leather using a popsicle stick. I'm setting the blade depth for that. That's something we've used for many years with different cutting machines and tools. I'm going to uncheck that cut contours. That was added when I chose to keep the original when I set up that etch fill, and then I'm going to click OK. So it's only going to send the etch, and then it is going to do that process. And I jumped ahead here. It does take time to etch, and that depends on the size of your design and your fill. Okay, let's take a look at this. So this is the Siser Easy Etch tool, and I can tell it's a lot rougher. Now this is only a force of 20. I didn't want to go too extreme. It's a lot rougher, which means it's broken the surface of the leather. I'm going to wet this here so you can see the texture even more in that. It's not a smooth surface. This is rough. It also has a lot of debris, but I'm going to continue testing with this. Now this here, from experience, since it broke the surface, the leather dye would sit down farther in the leather. It would show up darker. So I'm going to do some testing with some different things and see what we can do. I'm not sure deeper would be better or higher force would be better in this case, but I'm going to try the next round with this, and then using the Easy Crease on top of that to see if we can smooth that out a little bit. First, I need to wet my leather. And test number 2, you do want to dampen the leather. My leather is several years old, so it is dried out, and so sometimes it takes me a couple times to wet that before I get my design ready to send. So then all I did here was I used the repeat function, which I will link in the description below as well. I'm using the same exact settings, so I was able to just hit the play button, which is your repeat. I took the etching tool out, and then I set the crease tool in using that popsicle stick for the depth. And then I'm going to send that, and it's going to send the same fill pattern over top and try to smooth that out. And we'll see what those results end up like here. Okay, we'll pull this out and see if it was worth it. I should have removed the tool before I did that. Now I have a drag mark. There's quite a bit of, and I just got it all over my cutting mat. Good thing this is my leather mat. So I'm just going to rub off the fuzzies, and then let's wet this down so you can see it a little bit better. So it does have a little more texture to it compared. These are already stained, but this is debossed. This is actually breaking the surface of that leather. So this is going to take a leather dye really, really well but I'm going to keep on testing and trying some things out and share some more. And then once I'm done with that, I will dye it and we'll see what happens. I increased the force, which is, I don't think, a good thing. So I just stopped the job, and that is tearing up that leather a lot. Even just trying to do the back and forth lines, that's tearing it up more than it should. So gonna try again. Decrease the force back to what it was working. Now here is the next test. This is a different design. I was trying something a little bit different. So I drew a circle and then have the logo in the middle, and I was trying to do the tooling, the etch, whatever you want to call it, on the circle and leaving the logo as the raised edge. And so I was a little bit off here, as you can see on the right hand side. That is not a machine fault. I was off when I set my blade and have it too far to the right. So in this case, this is the etch tool. And then I'm using the popsicle stick to set the depth for the crease tool. Okay, so this one looks like crap. I'm just gonna share it anyhow because I messed up in a lot of ways. So I did the first with the etch tool. So it roughed it up like this. And then when I swapped out for the easy crease tool, I hit repeat, which was a mistake. And this is my error too. I was so close, so close. It smushed it up in there. I'm gonna take this and just kind of wet it so you can see. So I messed up. Force of 20 with that easy crease tool. And then I went back and did another pass. So 3 total passes at the force of 60 that I had done before. And it doesn't look great. Especially compared to this one. So I'm going to keep testing, but I wanted to show you, user error. I just kept going. And then the emboss, it's very messy. So some of this can be rubbed off, but it's just not smooth. There's a lot here. And then the longer that your project is with leather and tooling leather, it's very difficult to keep it wet, which can affect how it's going to look as well too, because you cannot remove the mat in order to wet the material. So you kind of just have to fiddle with it and work with it as is. So the longer the project, it can become problematic too. So I'm going to continue testing with this. Now I decided to test with a little different design. I had a request for a luggage tag, so I just created one, and there was my first test on that using the etch and then the emboss over top of that. And you can see the texture there. This is with it wet, so you can get a feel for how that design is going to look with stain. And then I just continued to do the same thing. So over and over testing, and there is showing a photo of all the tools. Make sure to check out the links in the description below for additional information on leather with the Siser Juliet and Romeo and all the supplies that I'm using in my testing. Thanks for joining me and have a great day.